Good day and you are welcome. So in our previous class we discussed introduction to Mendelian genetics and the key concepts of Mendelian genetics, including genes and allele, dominant and versus recessive genes, traits, segregation and independent assessment of gametes, then genotype versus phenotype. So in this video, we are going to discuss application of Mendelian genetics in animal breeding. And the focus will be on the predicting of inheritance, selective breeding, improving of economic traits such as meat production, and growth rate of animals, then understanding of complex traits, as well as pedigree analysis. Application of Mendelian genetics in animal breeding. For predicting of inheritance in animals, Mendelian genetics is one of the key approach or principle that is being used in animal production, because it allow understanding of the Mendelian principle allows breeders or animal scientists to forecast the probability of an offspring inheriting a specific trait. For example, if two different breeds of goats that have tolerance to heat stress are mates, there is possibility that they will produce an offspring that will have capability of adapting to heat stress. So we can predict that the offspring that will be coming out of breeding these two different breeds of goats will be an animal that have capability of withstanding heat stress. So this predictive ability is very important in curating breeding strategy that emphasizes desirable characteristics within a given herd or flock of an animal. For example, again, let's assume we are interested in developing or running a farm where we keep laying birds that have capability of producing good number of eggs in a year. Okay, so for as long as we know that whatever is in parents can be transmitted or can be inherited by the offspring, so it will be possible for us to get a chicken that have superior laying capability, mate them with each other so that we can have offspring that will have a higher level of egg laying. So as a result of that, we'll be able to enhance overall quality and productivity of our flock. So by applying this principle, breeders can make informed decisions that align with breeding objective, whether it is to increase milk yield, for example, by crossing of Holstein Friesian with another high-performing milk-producing breed of cattle, or improving meat quality, or enhancing growth rate, for example, in broiler chicken production. So if the target is to make sure that we have chicken that are fast growing, okay, so there will not be point for us breeding a local or native chicken of Africa. We rather focus on high performing breed like Arbor Acre, Anang, Masha, or some other high performing or fast growing broiler chicken. So understanding of the fact that it is possible for a parent to transmit their traits, or it is possible for offspring to inherit their parent traits and express it, can allow us to predict inheritance. It can allow us to say, okay, offspring that will be coming out of breeding this particular breed of animal are going to be of this nature. So Mendelian genetics has given us that knowledge. Another thing is selective breeding. Since we know that what an offspring will be is a replica of the parent, so we will be deliberate in selecting animals that will give us desirable traits, and we will pair them intentionally for breeding purposes. If our target is to produce animals that will be growing faster, so there will be no point for us picking animals that we know that naturally they don't grow fast. So we will not go for them. We just pick the one that we know, okay, these are animals that produce large quantity, or they produce higher volume of milk compared with this. So there will be no point for us breeding these and this. So we just breed the ones that can produce more milk. If we meet the ones that produce more milk, definitely we know that the offspring will produce more milk compared with breeding these ones that produce lower milk. So as a result of this, there will be possibility or higher percentage of expressing desirable traits in the offspring, because we already have a knowledge that it is possible for the offspring to express traits that are inheritable from their parents. So as a result of this, there will be efficient improvement of economically important traits within a given herd of animal. Then another thing is improving economic traits. So our knowledge of inheritance of economic traits can inform manipulation of those economic traits. So by applying Mendelian principle, it is possible to strategically select parents with desirable genetic traits and ensuring that these traits are passed down to future generations. So whatever will make this animal not to be able to transmit this particular trait to the coming generation, we will prevent it. So for example, if animals are not in good state of health, there is possibility that they may not transmit their traits to their coming generation. So because of this, we make sure that those animals are in good state of health. So this knowledge of Mendelian genetics will now give us an opportunity of targeted selection processes that enhance efficiency and effectiveness of breeding effort, thereby ultimately leading to more productive capability of the generations that are of the offspring of the animals. So this is advantage of Mendelian genetics. Then understanding of complex traits. We mentioned at the beginning of this class that transmission of traits is being carried out by genes. Okay? But these genes can be of different forms. So a situation whereby we have traits that are being controlled by different genes. So this situation is known as a complex traits. So these traits, they are also known as polygenic traits, and with the knowledge of breeding and genetics, researchers and breeders, they can work together to predetermine a better strategy of making sure that traits that are being controlled by different type of genes are being effectively managed in relation to the environment where the animals are being kept, so that at the end of the day, we will have offspring with desirable characteristics. So Mendelian genetics has given us this type of understanding. So this knowledge is clearly a challenge in dairy sustainability, so whereby continuous increasing milk production is reducing reproductive success or reproductive efficiency or rates in animals. So Mendelian genetics is a key principle that is being explored by scientists and breeders to make sure that we strike balance between increasing milk production and enhancing reproductive success rates. So another area where Mendelian genetics has been useful in livestock production is a pedigree analysis. This has to do with examining of the family history, that is the pedigree of a given animal, to facilitate the identification of inheritance pattern for specific trait of interest. For example, consider a trait such as a coat color in cattle, where black, that is capital B, is dominant over white, which is the small b, which is a recessive trait. So if we want to breed cattle that are of black color, we know that we will either go for an animal that have B, that is capital B dominant, or that is heterozygous in nature. That is, it could have trait of B, but the small one, the recessive one, so that at the end of the day, if we have the gametes to be capital B small b, capital B small b, we will end up having capital B, capital B, capital B small b, then small b, then capital B, capital B. So at the end of the day, you discover that this will be a black animal, this will be a black animal, this will be a black animal, while this will be a white animal. So it will be possible for us to select the cow and the bull that will give us black animal, if black animal is our target. So we can deliberately select parents that will lead to production of offspring that will give us the desirable color of our interest. So Mendelian genetics has given us this opportunity in livestock production. So summarily, Mendelian genetics provide the foundation for understanding of how traits are being inherited in animals. By utilizing this principle, breeders can make strategic decisions to enhance livestock population and productivity. And this involves selecting parents animal with desirable traits, predicting inheritance pattern, and applying knowledge of both simple and complex traits, ultimately leading to Mendelian genetic inheritance that lead to production of animals with desirable traits or characteristics. So this brings us to the end of this class. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions, you can send it through your class rep or you send it through my email. Thank you. You are welcome.